Hello, all you heroes, villains, and innocent bystanders. Welcome to another exciting episode of A Angel and Her Unicorn comic book reviews. I'm Alan the Unicorn, and with me today is...
Kelly the Dragon. Hi.
And as always, our little angel Jenny will be with us. I'm sure she will be commenting from afar. I'm sure she has plenty to say. We usually like to talk about things that she might say. Me and James, we comment on how things that she would bring up. So, let's go ahead and, if you can, like, share, and subscribe. We would greatly appreciate it. And
turn your bell notifications on so you guys get notified when we post a new video. Well,
which I try to post every Monday.
Try to.
Most of the part. I think I usually hit it. And eventually I will have the times of each book into the descriptions below. And that way you can skip right to it if you would like to. Or you can listen to us babble, which we love. Because we're pretty good at it.
Babble, babble.
Babble, babble, babble. But until then, let's go ahead and get... we will be spoiling the books for the week. So if you haven't read your books, you may want to pause the video, go read your books. Or, like I said, you're more than welcome to hear us babble and spoil the books for you. Either way, it's just like... It's like living the book when we do it anyways. You know. It's like acting. Alright, you want to go first? You want me to go first?
I go first.
Alright, you go first.
It's my birthday.
Oh, that's right! Today is the dragon's birthday. It is actually her official birthday day today. So, happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, dear dragon. Happy birthday to you. And many more.
Thank you.
Happy birthday. Alright, how old are you? 27? 28?
Yes.
You look 40. Sunscreen, baby. You need some sunscreen.
I do not. I'm pale.
So how old are you?
I am turning 10.
Turning 10. You are 10 today. Yep.
Already 10.
7, what did you say, 7:45?
7:27.
I was close.
7:27.
Alright, so which one are you going to do first?
Naomi.
Alright, Naomi, what number?
Number 4.
Okay, and who did the writing and who was the artist?
Writing artist. Isn't it at the back of the book?
No, I think it's in the front. There it is.
The writers are...
Tell the people, not me.
The writers are Brian Mitchell,
Michael Bendis,
and David F. Walker.
Mm-hmm.
And the artist is
Jamal
Campbell.
Which, by the way, his art is glorious. It is beautiful.
I know, it's so pretty.
Alright.
Okay, so in the last book, it ended with Naomi and her dad in a cave with a spaceship. She's asking, like, is this yours? Are you even human?
Mm-hmm.
Talks for a long time, and then he gets explaining who he is, and he is, wait, what is it called?
Rangarian.
A Rengar. Thank you. And he explains everything, and he explains that they found D,
who ended up being Thangarian.
So then he keeps on explaining, and then he comes to our Earth, and he finds D.
Mm-hmm.
And then he sees his wife, Naomi's mom. And then they talk, keep on explaining.
Lots of explanation.
Lots of explanation for everything. And he drives her on the top of the spaceship.
Yep.
Which might be scary.
I think I would be scared. I'd probably poop myself.
And so keep on explaining for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Explain how his thing... Wait, what was it? A pod?
Yeah, his spaceship.
No.
Oh, his little sensor pod found.
Sensor pod thing.
They get a signal for something.
Mm-hmm. And they find D.
Who also has a sensor thing that he meets them and says, "Oh, did yours go off too?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's mine went off too." And So they're still kind of enemies, but they're not really not. They're kind of like, they have like a small, like treaty that they're not going to hurt each other because they're both trying to live on the earth. So.
Your hair looks. Are you changing your hair every day?
No.
Yesterday it looked different.
It's magical unicorn hair. When your mane is magical, it just turns and changes color on every event.
Every event. Okay. And so these people who look like scorpions.
They kind of do. They kind of have like scorpion like tails and like there's like big giant laser arms, and they were kind of crazy. But it looked pretty cool. Like, I mean, like they had a really neat look. Like they had a really cool look to kind of, but it was very dark. But they were chasing somebody.
And then they helped defend.
So the dad, the Thangarian and the Rangarian, they
fight the scorpion people.
Yeah.
And then
but the scorpion people shoot this lady in the back before they get sent back to in the portal.
And it was actually Naomi's biological mom.
Maybe, we don't know.
Maybe.
It was just somebody that's
possibly.
Could be her mom, but we're not
probably for sure. Is related to her mom.
Slim possibility. We don't know.
Oh.
We didn't write it.
Way to ruin the moment.
It was not a moment.
And then he takes it back. He throws Naomi, like, and then Dean asks, "Who is she?" And then Naomi asks, "What was I wrapped in?" And
no, he talked about the box that she had, and so he was like, she's like, "I want to see that. Where's that box?" And it was under the seat.
And in her eyes, it's the same symbol on what was on the box.
So it's reflected in her eyes. So now she's like,
Mom.
But it says next time that they're gonna reveal her, hopefully. So hopefully they'll explain things, and then they can move on with the story because it is issue 4, and we still are just trying to figure out what's going on. So I
love it.
You do love this book, I know.
I've stayed with it since book 1.
You have actually. You've read almost all of them. Yeah.
I think I've read every single book.
I think you have. Which this is kind of like I'm starting to get into it a little bit more because I read them because she wants to read them, so I try to read them, so I can help if she needs to follow along or anything like that. So, but I have to say, like, it's kind of getting interesting. I'm a little interested, but I wish they would give more a little bit quicker so we could start getting to some more stories, so we can actually get stories between the two of them, or what's going on with her, or like, is she, I need more. I'm ready for it to be. I mean, if this was a TV show, you wouldn't watch 4 episodes of them trying to figure it out. Like, you would need something more. There needs to be something a little bit different. I feel like there's a lot of explanation. Beautiful artwork.
Yeah, like
beautiful artwork.
It's just stunning.
It is stunning. So on a scale of 1 to 5, what would you give it?
5 billion.
I'd give it a 4 out of 5. I actually enjoyed this issue. Again, the art's really neat. I like the little bit of the mystery behind it is kind of fun, but I'm ready for them to get into it and kind of get into some more story. So I'm gonna do TIE Fighter number 1. So it's a Star Wars. It's a Star Wars TIE Fighter pilots, and they start off the book with fighting kind of like a dogfight in space. They get they're protecting their little they're protecting their Star Destroyer. Then they introduce the characters as there's the female kind of captain, senior lieutenant. Then there's the one that's kind of just a little, he's like the buddy guy. Then there's the two that are in love, the girl and the guy, and then the kind of random commander. Then they all are under this one called the grandmother. She's this old general, and so she sends them in. She gets them ready for a mission. She's like, "Hey, we're gonna have to go protect this. We're gonna get ready to go protect this dead Star Destroyer that needs to be watched over and make sure that it doesn't get destroyed." So they're all like, "Why are we wasting our skills on this?" She said, "You're here for the rebels, or you're here to fight the rebels. That's all you need to know." So they have a little bit of they kind of talk at lunch or their little cafeteria time, and they talk about what's the difference between a rebel and a separatist, and you know, they kind of have a little bit of side talk where they talk more about how they I don't even know how to explain it, like how they're not really that far from being rebels, but they, you know, that's talk that can get them in trouble, so they have to be careful with what they say. And then it kind of just shows them like getting ready for this mission. They go out for the mission, and they get to the Star Destroyer, and their main ship gets hit, and it comes from the Star Destroyer that they're trying to protect. And then come to find out, it is actually the Star Destroyer that they're going to protect sends out TIE fighters, so they're going to fight their own people, but they don't know why. So it's interesting. I'm curious to see what they're going to do, like what's going to be with that. So that story ends, and then they go on to a kind of a different story in between some different pilots. So they just kind of chit chat and talk, and then kind of find out one of the girls on the team is actually a rebel. She's a spy, and so it's this short little backstory where they find out she's a spy, and
drama.
I know, right? Oh, so. All in all, it was a okay first issue. Nothing really exciting. Kind of just introducing the characters, so it was okay. I may try to pick up issue 2 if I see it come out. Otherwise, I'm probably not going to seek it out. It's not really something that I was like, oh my god, I can't wait to read second issue. So all in all, it was okay. I would probably give it a 2 out of 5 unicorn horns. The art was okay. There wasn't anything really exciting. Some of it even seemed a little bit just kind of boring. Like it was, the character design was kind of neat, but I don't know. It wasn't my favorite art. It was okay. It was good. I mean, obviously they're better than I am, but still, it's on par with some of the Star Wars stuff. I feel like it's some of the lesser artists, but all in all, like it was okay. 2 out of 5 unicorn horns. We'll see about second issue, see how that goes. The story was done by Jody Hauser, and the art was Rug Antonio, and Michael Dowling was the other story. And so, we shall see.
Sorry if we pronounce your names wrong.
Yeah. If you followed our videos, you know we're going to butcher their names, and I am so sorry.
Just put a pronunciation right under your
we said that 1,000 times. I don't think it's going to work. I don't think we're going to
comic book writers. It would be very helpful.
Or like you could rename yourself like something like, you know, Rabbit, or like, oh, Rabbit drew this, got it, you know, something.
That would be way easier.
Yeah, they need handles. All right, so what's gonna be your second book?
Scooby-Doo.
Where are you? We got some work to do now.
That's all the way at the end.
Well, I had to read it. What do you want me to do? Nope, that's still. There you go.
Front cover.
All right, and
this is
number
98.
And then the artist and writer
are right there. Zoom in. Hello. Okay, the writer is Derek
Friedolfs.
And Randy
Elliot.
Okay.
All right.
It starts out there at a fair.
Talk to them, not the iPad.
Hi, iPad.
The iPad doesn't care about our show. Well, they probably care about as much as everybody else. So anyways.
So, they're at a Scottish fair. And they're going in. Scooby-Doo and Shaggy go inside and, what is it called? The instrument that they're...
Bagpipes?
Yes, bagpipes. They blow it right in their ears. That would be so loud. And
it would be so loud.
And the dancers, and then this Scottish monster creature.
Yes.
Scare them away, and Velma loses her glasses.
She does every issue.
It just happens.
Yeah, just
Like,
glasses fall out your face.
just put contacts in.
For real.
Like,
laser surgery. Velma, laser surgery. Do it.
I know it's gonna be a lot of money, but it's
worth the
worth
investment.
it.
All right.
Worth it. And they talk to, what's your name?
Let's see. Scott.
Scott.
Oh no, the Mad Scott is the creature. So I don't know. They don't.
We're gonna name him Fred.
Yeah. He's gonna be Bill.
Bill. So the main character, the side character besides the group is.
They're just talking to this random guy.
Okay.
And then they're talking about he's telling them about the Mad Scott and how he's like, you know,
Scottish people are so hard to read.
Yeah.
I'm struggling
because they write in the accent, so
and
it gets a little.
Are you
have to think about
gibberish?
No, it's their Scottish accent,
yes,
but it's written.
It's written like gibberish.
Just put in like parentheses and accent. Like you don't have to write an accent. Please. But anyway, so they do.
And so and then of course,
Shaggy has
food,
which is haggis. Which do you remember what they said a haggis was?
Haggis.
Made out of sheep's heart, liver, lungs, and all of that inside a sheep's stomach. Mmm, tasty. Sounds like you should make a fast food restaurant out of that.
No, please don't.
Chick-fil-A, like haggis fillet.
Haggis fillet.
Yep. Or how about haggis on a bun?
Haggis on a sheep.
Haggis in a sheep. So gross.
So, and Scooby throws up
in the bagpipes.
And then Daphne, she looks at this purple.
She starts talking about the plaid.
The plaid.
And then the lady tells them
about
all the plaid being different families. Each family kind of has a different plaid to go with their thing. And so then they start getting kilts. And then they run into
Mad Scott.
The Mad Scott.
And it lands right. A sword lands on his foot.
Yes.
Right on his foot. And then he throws.
He throws like a little
golf ball.
No, I think it's like more like a weighted ball.
Okay.
Because the Scottish games, they throw logs and they throw boulders and they pull things and they try to test their strength.
Shaggy. Wait, what's Shaggy's?
He starts spinning a shot put and tries
what's
to
swing. Shot put?
That's where there's little balls on the chain and then they swing it around and they let it go and they try to.
That would suck if that landed around your neck.
Yeah.
Splat.
Yeah. So
and then Scott runs off, and then.
So then the gang tries to do some of the Scottish games. So they start playing the tug of war and they lose.
Of course they lose.
I know, they're all a bunch of wimps.
And
but they use the rope to
tie up Mad Scott, and then they all throw pillars around him.
Yeah.
And then
all the Scottish people throw their logs, and it sticks around him like a fence.
And then Freddy pulls off the mask, and it's the random dude.
The random dude, Bill.
It's Bill from the beginning.
From the beginning. All right. So now the second story they have is going to be. Don't start it. You were doing so good.
I'm sorry.
Terrence Grape was the writer, and Fabio Laguna was the artist.
I didn't even want to try because I would have butchered it so hard.
And this one takes place in
China, Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Close enough.
Nope. Different country.
So Velma finds Scooby and Shaggy eating a nacho.
It's a special meal that sumo wrestlers eat to kind of fill them up and kind of get them full of protein so that they can build muscle. And like it's supposed to fill them up, but Shaggy and Scooby, of course, are still hungry.
I'm always hungry.
You are.
Got like a Shaggy and Scooby stomach.
But you just snack. You don't eat a lot. You just eat small amounts, and you're like a bird. So, anyways, so they go and they're talking about to the big sumo guy, the main sumo guy, who's gonna. Yeah, he's like the grand champion, and he has one more fight before he retires, and he's gonna fight him, and then he's gonna use like the golden scissors to cut off his top knot.
Just cut the band, not the hair.
No, that's their ceremony. So they cut the top knot so that they can retire because it's part of their culture. So,
put that on my bucket list. Not to be a sumo wrestler.
You don't want to cut your hair?
Of course not. I love my hair. Of course not. Okay, that was a weird part to read.
So they start the sumo ceremony. And then as they begin to start, all of a sudden this
bird.
Yeah, Tengu spirit comes out and like creates chaos.
Like usual.
Yep. So
everybody freaks out, runs, scream.
And then they find out they stole the scissors and they stole the trophy. And so the main guy, or the main champion, blames the bad guy, and the bad guy, of course, blames the champion. Everybody blames everybody. You know, they blame the manager. And so...
And then Velma sings, or says some... What does she say?
She starts singing...
A song, and then
Yep.
And it's a...
She's trying to get, in order for the Tengu to show back up, they have to wrestle. So she starts singing to Shaggy and Scooby to wrestle, and so they start wrestling for Scooby snacks, and the Tengu shows up because there's not supposed to be any more matches, and so he shows up to stop the match. And then...
Daphne shoots a banana.
A banana underneath the Tengu's foot, and he slips.
And then he slips, and then they tie him up, and then
they reveal it, who it is.
It's Tommy?
Yes. So he ends up being the guy. He doesn't want the champion to retire because he's afraid that he will never have anything anymore. He'll never have another match or a person like that, and the wrestler's like, I'm gonna start my own sumo school. I'm gonna do it anyways. So then all hilarity. So then Scooby ends up cutting his top knot so that he can retire, and he wins his match. Yay! Super awesome. Scooby books are always fun. I always like them. So what'd you think?
For my first Scooby-Doo book.
No, you reviewed one before. It's a Scooby-Doo. It's Adventures of Scooby-Doo. Just like the cartoon, they have...
Not different.
No, it's fun, and I mean, like, I think it's definitely lends itself to a younger audience, and so...
I'm sorry to say it, but they kind of stay in one box. They never go outside of that box.
Yeah. They've done it before, because they've done the other ones where they did, like, the Apocalypse Scooby, where they did zombies and stuff like that, and that was kind of interesting and kind of fun, but...
And they never really go outside the box.
So what would you rate it? The art is very, very much Scooby-Doo art. Like, it's very much like, just like the cartoon.
It was kind of a bit of a boring book, kind of.
Yeah. I think it has its place. Like, if you're a Scooby-Doo fan, or if you're a younger reader, I think young kids would enjoy it. It's a fun little adventure, so.
I am still a young-ish kid.
Yeah, but we make you read other things. So I think that's kind of hard. I think if we just made you read all the kid ones, I think you would enjoy it a little bit more. But, so, on a scale of 1 to 5, rate it.
Let's see, maybe a 2.
You gotta tell them, not me.
2 unicorn horns.
I agree. Probably a 2 unicorn horn. If you're a big Scooby fan, or like I said, of a younger reader, you probably like it a little bit more than we did. But, so, that's your second book. So I'm going to review, let's see. We're going to do Calamity Kate. Second book by Dark Horse.
Dark
The writer is Magdalene Visaggio, and the artist is Corin Howell. So we reviewed the number one. She's like a monster hunter a while back when it came out. And so this is the second continuation. I was curious to see where they were going to go with it. And it's still really fun. Like, she has this rivalry with her friend, or not her friend, but she has a rivalry with this other monster hunter, Javelin. And Javelin's like, she claims that she's going to kill all the 7 main monsters. And so Calamity Kate's just irritated. So she's at the house with her friend and the little daughter, and she breaks the controller. And the friend's like, you still need to clean up this house. She's like, I'll clean it up when I get back. Don't worry, I'm going to finish everything I need to do, and then I'll clean it up. And she's like, no, you need to do it. And she's like, no, I'll get it when I get there. And so she leaves. She goes to fight all these monsters, and she ends up finding the King Goblin. And she's getting ready to kill the King Goblin, but as soon as Javelin knocks her out of the way, and she kills the King Goblin and kind of steals her kill. So Kate comes back. She's really mad. She's really upset. And she comes bursting in as the mom's trying to teach the daughter how to tie her shoes. And the daughter's like, but Kate doesn't wear shoes, or her shoes have zippers. Why can't I just have zippers on boots? And she's like, no, you're not going to be like her. So she comes in. She gets Kate grabs a rifle with a scope on it, and she's going to go, huh?
No.
So she's gonna go and hunt this. She's gonna go and take all the kills from Javelin. That's her goal. So she takes all this stuff and she goes, and then they cut to the little daughter playing with her friend, and they're playing Monster Hunters. So she ends up, her friend goes and kills the main monster, and so the little girl shoots her friend in the head with a little dart. She's like, "Why'd you shoot me?" She goes, "You don't steal people's monsters. Kate told me you don't steal people's monsters. It's not okay." So it's kind of starting to bleed into a little bit with the little girl.
Maybe your friend shouldn't be around your
Yeah,
daughter.
I think that's where it's kind of getting. I think there might be a little bit of
Maybe
a little turmoil in there. So they go, and she goes and starts fighting with, or she's like kind of scoping out Javelin. And Javelin's fighting these goblins. Well, one of the goblins sneaks up on Kate, and she falls off the roof and kind of catches this flagpole and saves herself a little bit. But while she's doing that, she ends up having a kind of vision of her. It looks like her girlfriend, but I'm not for sure. They really don't, like, that's kind of what they allude to. But then she, like, when she actually snaps out of it, it's Javelin. Javelin's trying to help her up, and she's like, why are you being, like, why are you trying to be my friend, or why are you helping me, because now you're trying to steal my kills, you're trying to steal my stuff. And she goes, all of a sudden this goblin sneaks up, so Kate grabs Javelin's javelin and throws it through one of the goblins and saves her, kind of saves them. And she's like, I just want you to know I'm going to be, next time I want to humiliate you. And she goes, I'm count on it. And so she walks away, and that's kind of where the book ends. Really fun book. Probably not age appropriate. A lot of cussing. A lot of blood violence. But still, like, it is really funny. Like, it's really cute. And it's just, it's not like a really hard premise to follow. It's very simple and easy to understand what's under the book. So it's just, I really like it. It's a fun book to follow. So I will probably pick up the next couple of issues for sure, just to see how things are going to go. But I've really enjoyed it. The art's really fun. I probably give this a 4 out of 5 unicorn horns, just because it's an easy read. Sometimes when you read a lot of stuff where they have the wall of words, or like the current Justice League, where it's just so much stuff that's so convoluted, it gets very hard to follow and monotonous and just boring. So a simple book that's really kind of fun. The premise is really easy and the art's really nice. It's just really kind of a fresh air. So 4 out of 5 unicorn horns definitely for me. So your last book is going to be Xena, Warrior Princess, #1 by Dynamite, and it's written by Vida Ayla,
and the artist is by
Olympia Sweetman. That's a pretty cool name. Oh, that's a cool name.
What if she was in the Olympics?
I don't know. Or maybe she was like a Mount Olympus. Maybe she's a god. We just don't know it yet.
Okay, so it starts out in... Wait, where is this?
It just says a time of ancient gods. So it's just a little valley.
And they're fighting these people.
Uh-huh.
And, okay. And Xena comes and she basically kicks butt with her friend. Isn't her name?
Gabriella.
I kept on seeing the Gretel book, so I kept on calling her.
That's pretty good.
Gretel. And so this man comes up, Mason. He's like, I need help. The kids in my valley, the kids in my village are in danger. Or is it valley?
Village, yeah.
And he's like, and Gabriella says, this is Xena. Did I say it right? Xena? Xena?
Xena?
And he's like, my prayers have been answered. Finally.
So he takes her to this village.
To the village. Gabriella's like, no. Xena tells her to go talk to the kids, see what they know, and then she'll go talk to
the kind of the elders.
And
so they kind of like are trying to figure out what's going on in the village. So she's like, you go here and I'm gonna go here and we're gonna meet in the middle and we're gonna find out what's going on.
And so this kid has drawn a bird. Does it say what bird? Nope. And so all the kids are really, really strong.
Yep.
And so she tells them a story, and it cuts to Xena talking to the elders and the adults. And they're like, we're not going to give up our kids. And the elders like, enough.
She's kind of like, look, we've got, because what they've got to do is kind of find out they've got to give the kids to their patron goddess, which is Nemesis, I think. Is it Nemesis or I'll find out. Anyways, so they're like, we have to give our kids to the patron goddess, and the woman's like, we didn't agree to this. Why all of a sudden are we, like, why should we give our kids? We should just try to fight. Well, if we fight, we're gonna die. If we die, then our kids aren't gonna be able to, protect themselves. So it's just this kind of catch-22. So then
don't
Xena,
they know that you can have more kids?
You just don't want to kill your kids. Besides, Raylan's way better than you are, and I don't know if I would trade you. So anyway, Xena starts talking to this old lady, and the old lady kind of like alludes that there's something mysterious underneath all of it, but she doesn't tell her what.
And then it cuts to bedroom, and Gabriella and Xena are talking.
They're kind of still trying to figure it out. And
then they give Sunset, they give
all their stuff, they bring all their belongings. Discord, that's what it is. It wasn't Nemesis, it was Discord. So Discord shows up and she's ready to take the kids, and Xena's like, no you're not. So then the old lady shows up and tells them why they have to give the kids.
And then it cuts to,
like, in the past, the kids get sick.
Her kid gets sick, and she's like, I'm tired of staying quiet. I'm saying what I want to say, and she's bleeding out of her nose and her
because it's part of the
eyes.
curse, because she's not supposed to be talking about it. So as she's telling the story, she's dying.
And so Xena shuts her eyes, and then she dies.
No, the old lady dies, but Xena shuts the old lady's eyes.
Okay, and then Discord's like, why aren't you attacking her?
Well, she says, I'll make a deal with you. If you give me Xena, then you can keep your kids. So then all the people start fighting Xena because they want to give Xena to the girl instead of...
I'm sorry, but you thought that you were gonna beat Xena.
The warrior princess. It's always like that, though. That's how it always rolls. So anyway, hilarity ensues. They fight the villagers, and Xena ends up saying, I'll sacrifice myself. I'll give you... If you promise to let everybody go, I'll go with you. And so that was the end of the book. So you said... So go ahead. What'd you think?
At the beginning I thought it was a little slow. A little boring.
Mm-hmm.
But then at the end it was a pretty good book at the end.
So did you like it overall? What about the art? Yeah, I feel like the art was a little lacking. It was okay. It wasn't anything really special about it. It really didn't stand out for me. It seemed kind of a little bit more of a rush job, a little bit. Like a lot of the stuff is really sketchy. But some of the poses are really dynamic, and the colors are kind of interesting. But all in all, like I wouldn't read another one, but it was okay. 2 out of 5 unicorn horns. If you're a big Xena fan, this might be a little bit more enjoyable. Or if you watch the show and you wanted to continue with the show, because it's been years since it's been on. But I don't think there was anything super special about it. So 2 out of 5 unicorn horns. It was a Xena book. What'd you think? What'd you give it?
I'd probably give it a 2 out of 5 unicorn horns.
You gotta talk to them. You gotta talk loud.
2 out of 5 unicorn horns. Sorry to headphone users. Sorry.
She likes to mumble a lot. So I'm gonna do my last book, and then we'll do the pull list and be done. Okay. So my last book is gonna be War of the Realms #2. So this is Marvel's big crossover where all the different realms of the other worlds, like Niflheim and Jotunheim and what's the other ones? Jotunheim. Anyways, all those other worlds have combined to, or Malekith, the Dark Elf, is gathering all these worlds to fight and take over all of them. So the 7 kingdoms. So he has different people from different places. So this one, they are trying to get everybody to escape. So they're trying to evacuate everybody. Punisher's killing all these dark elves because he has iron in his bullets. So he's just like mowing them down. So the first half of the book is basically everybody's trying to get the villain or get the people out of New York. Well, they're cut off from the communications because the shapeshifter has commandeered all the satellites. They're cut off from magic because there's the war witches that are kind of blocking all of Doctor Strange's magic, so he can't teleport everybody away. And they're all kind of fighting various superheroes. Well, all of a sudden, Odin and the Valkyries show up, and they...
Valkyrie!
Yeah, and on these cool Pegasus horses.
It's
super awesome! So they show up, and they start to fight and help all the characters, and Valkyrie grabs Jane Foster and goes, let's go after Malekith. So she's like, no, you're not going to take over Malekith, I am. So she drops her off on a roof, and Jane Foster's like, wait, no, let me know, don't leave me, I can help. And Odin comes and meets his wife. Well, all of a sudden, Jane stops the war witches. She starts fighting the war witches and kind of distracts him so Doctor Strange can activate his spell. And he starts teleporting everybody away. He was only supposed to teleport like the innocent bystanders, but he actually starts teleporting everybody away, even all the heroes, which is really not good because they're like, wait, we need to go back. And Valkyrie's left by herself to fight Malekith. Well, the other heroes, they get teleported back to the dead Celestial that is the Avengers' home base. And they're like, well, we need to make a plan. Well, one group decides they're going to go after Thor, who's in the giant realm. And they're like, we need to go after him. And so Jotunheim. And so the mom, Freya, is going to take a group to go after him. And then one group needs to go get the Bifrost or activate, stop the Dark Bifrost Bridge. Because that's how Malekith is kind of going around through all the worlds. So he's like, we need to stop that first. And so that we can, he can stop traveling. So they get a group for that. Then they get a group to go after some of the other people. And so they have all these different, they're kind of getting all these groups together to, I assume, to do other books. And then to accomplish different missions. And then they see the TV where it shows Valkyrie fighting by herself. And she's got all these elven knives stuck in her. And as she's fighting, then all of a sudden she gets a sword through the heart. And it's Malekith has stabbed her through the heart. And then he cuts her head off. And that's the end of the book too. And I'm not happy about that. Because Valkyrie was probably one of my favorite characters. She definitely should have been a lot more... Very sad. Very sad. I hope they bring her back. Or at least some form. I'm thinking maybe Jane Foster might become a Valkyrie. But I don't know how they're going to do it. But they may not bring her back, or this may be the big death. But why is it always got to be the girls? Why they always got to kill the women? Why can't they kill some of the men? Because they're pretty much useless too. So, the death of Valkyrie. Well, it looks like the death of Valkyrie. I'm assuming that's what they did because they did not show it. So, I'm not for sure if they're going to... Because she's also in another book called Asgardians of the Galaxy. So, I'm not for sure if they're going to have the aftermath of that in that book, or if they are going to maybe save her in that book somehow. I'm not for sure what they're going to do, so we'll see how that's going to go. But I really like this crossover. Crossovers in general are usually pretty just hit or miss, because it's so hard to do a crossover with so many books and not have so many characters and do things. But this one's kind of neat. I like all the different
characters.
Well, no, the Viking gods. Like, I like all the different Viking lore and the different worlds and the different realms. Like the giant, the frost giants, the fire beasts, the angels, the gods. Like, it's really kind of fun to see all the different characters that they bring in. And the art is really, really pretty. I really liked the art. They did a really great job.
Pretty.
Yeah. The
Oh my
writer
God.
was Jason Aaron, and it was drawn by Russell Dauterman, which I just really like. I mean, his stuff is it's really neat. Like, it's like tiny but intricate and detailed, and there's like all these great like landscapes. It's very, very
I
talented.
didn't even read it, and on art-wise, I would give it a 5 out of 5.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'd say 4 out of 5. It's probably not. There's some, obviously the death of Valkyrie makes me very upset, so not a huge fan of that.
That's the point.
So I like it. I think it's fun so far. It's an interesting premise. I'm curious to see where they're going to go with it in the other books. That's the other part about crossovers, is when you do something like this, you have to kind of funnel it into the other books. So I'm curious to see how the other writers are going to handle it, or if they're even going to do anything with it. So I'm not for sure how that's going to work out. That may determine how this book ends up, but we'll see. We'll see how people deal with it, and most people hate crossovers anyways. But I enjoyed this one. This one so far has been really fun. This book in particular has been really neat. So 4 out of 5 unicorn horns. And that is my books for the week, and that is her books for the week. So let's do our pull list, my pull list, since you were lazy this week. Read only what you had to. I forced you to read.
I'm a busy person.
You are a very busy person. Very popular.
Yes.
Many days of birthday things, celebrations, roller skatings, lots of cakes, food. So many celebrations.
So busy this week.
So busy. So we'll go through my pull list really quick, and then we'll finish this up, and we'll let you guys get back to your Easter. So
Happy
Teen Titans.
Easter.
Teen Titans number 29. I like Teen Titans. This one's kind of dealing with their when they capture the villains, they're putting them in this like special prison to kind of Robin's has been hiding it and keeping it up with them, and so they're kind of dealing with this aftermath of this hiding of the villains. And at the end of the book, they all escape. So I'm actually really liking Teen Titans. I got rid of it for a while. I wasn't a fan of it. It wasn't like I don't know what they were doing with it. And then this revamped new team is really fun. I really like the characters in it, so I've really enjoyed it. Gretel number 2, continuation. It's a little bit more. They're kind of leaning towards where they're going after the witch that killed her brother and made her eat his heart, and so I really enjoyed this book. But the premise is really neat. Gretel's powers are kind of neat, and I really enjoyed it. And
why would
so,
you eat a heart?
I guess when you're hungry, you just kind of do crazy things.
No. That's beyond the point of
Let's find out. Okay, so here's the deal. How about we will starve you. We'll cut out your sister's heart, and then we'll see how long it takes you to eat it. Because we really don't like her that much.
Okay, as long as you don't kill me.
Oh, well, actually, I don't know. I think we should starve both of you and see which one who eats whose heart first.
I'm just gonna give me a knife. Give me a knife. Give me a knife to defend myself.
Gretel was really fun though. I like Xenoscope. Xenoscope's books are they're not great. Like, they're not epic, but they're not bad, and they're just good books. They're fun reads. They're interesting characters, kind of fun twists. And the art's fairly decent in most of them. I think there's a couple that I was like, eh. But most of the books that I've read, I've read, this is my 3rd book, and I read a 4th one this week. But Xenoscope has really kind of been off my radar. But, man, since I started reading them, I really have to say Xenoscope has really got some pretty good game. I'm excited. I'm excited to kind of go back and read some of their books, their other books, so. So 4 out of 5 unicorn horns for Gretel. I also read Oz, the Heart of Magic from Xenoscope, and it's Dorothy.
Dorothy.
I don't know if it's because I haven't read the other books of Xenoscope, but this particular book I was not a fan of. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know any of the characters.
Dorothy.
It was, yeah, but she's in a different body. Like, she's in a blue person's body, and
Blue?
yeah, and somebody's in her body. The wizard, I guess the Wizard of Oz, is in her body, and so he's kind of impersonating her, but then she has all these other characters that I have no idea who these people are, so I wasn't a fan of this one. I think most of it's because I don't know what, I haven't read the other ones. Maybe if I read the other ones, I can maybe get into this one, but this one I have to say is 2 out of 5 unicorn horns, just because I wasn't for sure what was going on half the time. Black Badge, I love this book. The only thing that would make Black Badge a really, really great book is if they actually did some different art. I would like some really good art. The art works for this book because that's what they've done. That's what they've done so far. But I'm not for sure. It's not my favorite art. It's very be careful pushing on that because it's got a camera. And so if they, I would really like some really good art. But with that being said, the story is really neat. In this book, they have been 3 out of 5 of the Black Badges have been kidnapped, and so they're kind of they're being brainwashed. 3 out of 4 of the Black Badges are being brainwashed, and so they're kind of trying to figure out. They feel like their memories are missing, so they are trying to figure out a way to kind of escape. It's just a really fun book. So it's a really interesting premise. I like the characters. So 4 out of 5 unicorn horns. I really like this one. Thunderbolt by Dynamite. I have no idea. That was so confusing. The art was kind of interesting. It was very comic strip. It looked like a Sunday morning comic strip. But for the most part, I didn't like it. 1 out of 5 unicorn horns. I didn't understand the premise. I didn't quite understand what they were doing with it. The writing was weird. The art was just okay. I probably won't pick up the next one. Assassination number 2. I really like this book so far. This is about the one assassin's hiring all the other assassins to kind of protect him. So now hilarity's ensued, and so now a couple more of them die in this issue, and I I like the characters. I like the art. The art's really fun. She did Squirrel Girl, and I have to say this art is kind of a little bit stepped up her game. Her different characters are really fun, and the dynamic, like explosions and deaths are really interesting to watch her draw. So I really enjoyed the art and the story on this one. So I like this one a lot. So 4 out of 5 unicorn horns. Possibly, I would say 5 out of 5 unicorn horns. This one's kind of fun. Meet the Scrolls. It's like a spy book. They are doing a lot of different things with like how each of them met each other, and their daughter is kind of not really wanting to be part of this group. Well, the mom and dad they go on a mission, and then they at the end they come home, and like the house is destroyed, and they're trying to find their youngest daughter, and they at the very end she's killed the person that's killing the scrolls, and so she's like, am I a scroll now? Like, is this enough for you? So the spy aspect's really neat, the scroll aspect's really neat, the art's really interesting to kind of see how they did the art that works really well for this book. So I really enjoy this. I'm looking forward to I think it only has 2 more issues, so 4 out of 5 unicorn horns for that. I read Major X number 2. It's atrocious. I just 1 out of 5 unicorn horns. I just can't get in it. I can't get behind it. I'm sad. It makes me very sad.
Have you ever gave a book 0?
No, 0 would mean that like they didn't do anything. Like 1, you should at least give a 1 because they've at least attempted a book and they've done something more than I'll ever do. So I don't think I'll ever give a 0 because it's still an interesting medium. Just a lot of times books are not always for me, so I realize that, and that's okay. I also did The Amazing Nightcrawler number 3. This is that Age of X-Men book where it's they're still dealing with those, like, you're not supposed to have relationships. He comes to find out that he has a daughter. They're kind of trying to find the daughter. Him and Megan are in a relationship, but they're not supposed to be. It's forbidden. 2 out of 5 unicorn horns. I don't know. Like, I feel like all the books dealing with the same premise is really annoying. Speaking of next gen, so this is a book that most of the kids are starting to find out that they are from a different world, and so they kind of are, I don't know, dealing with teen angst. It's okay. 3 out of 5 unicorn horns. I actually enjoy the art in this a little bit. I like this book's premise a little bit more than the other ones. So it's kind of I like the characters a little bit more too. So this one's okay. But I'm ready for this world to be over with. But the one book that I really like is the Uncanny X-Men. They are killing it with this. Like, they were doing really good, and then they did this Age of X-Men thing, and they were kind of like meh, and now they're back to being really good again. They bring in Kawana and some other side characters, which I really kind of like. They're bringing in all these weird side characters that you're just like, whatever happened to them, and they're dealing with that, and so I kind of like that. It's a lot of fun. But at the end of the issue, they have Danny Moonstar, and she like falls to the ground, and she's screaming. They're like, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" And she's like, "Wolfsbane's dead." So I'm thinking, I'm assuming next issue they're gonna deal with what happened to Wolfsbane, because she, in the middle of the book, she leaves the team, and they go on a mission, and then at the end of the mission, Danny does that. So if you're an X-Men fan, this is a really good book. It's gotten really, really good, and the art's really amazing. Salvador Larroca is one of my top 5 favorite artists of all time. I love his stuff, and the story's really good. Like, the dialogue's pretty good. Even the boring parts are still kind of interesting, because it's interesting to see what they're gonna do with, like, who trusts who? Do you trust me? Are you supposed to do this? So I had a ton more books that I was supposed to read, and I just never got to them because of prior birthday commitments. So I still have a lot to read, but I'll finish up eventually. But if you have any books that we haven't read or that we should be reading, please leave a comment, because I'd love to add more stuff to my list to try not to get through again. But until then, I think we would love for you to like, share, and subscribe again. Turn on your bell notifications so that way you
get notified when he posts a new video.
Yep, every Monday we try to post, and We'd love to have more subscribers and a conversation. So if you can, leave a comment of things that maybe you'd like to hear us review, or if there's things that you don't agree with, please let us know why. Because we'd love to hear those other opinions, and always start a conversation about comic books. It's one of me and Jenny's main goal for this show. So we always enjoy hearing other people's stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But until then, like, share, and subscribe, and we hope your pull list is full. Bye.
Bye.